Okay. Hold on, you guys. Let me fix this lighting really quickly. Let's fix this lighting. Okay. Hopefully that's a little bit better. So good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, you guys. I'm trying to fix this lighting. Like, I should have did this before I started this video, but welcome back, you guys. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me see. So good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. It is currently 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is, I think, Saturday. I think today's Saturday, I think March 12th, 2022. So that being said, hey guys, welcome back. My name is Ty. I'm a spiritual healer. I am a informative person, a motivational or inspirational teacher. So that being said, on this channel, I suggest and advise information. I speak from place of experience, and I help people heal themselves from what has helped me along my journey using educational purposes and informing people. So I uplift people, I motivate people, and I inform people. So I'm just a messenger. So with that being said, me being a messenger, if these videos resonate with you, just make sure you leave this video a big thumbs up, make sure you're commenting down below, and make sure you're subscribed. But most importantly, make sure your notifications on if they're not on already, as well as follow me on my Instagram and my Twitter at Ty_guidance. And making sure you guys are staying up to date. So really quickly, as I'm getting situated, I just posted a daily upload. How can I better my life? That video is out right now. So go ahead. If you're not already, go ahead and check that out, as well as for this month, for this playlist. The playlist that I created for you guys is, I think, bettering yourself, or how to better yourself, or the best version of yourself and showing up for yourself. So really quickly, as this live is running, I'm going to let the time go ahead and get situated as I get situated. So if you guys see me looking down, it is because I'm on my phone, just like I said, uploading that video for you guys to see. So make sure you guys are subscribed, and as well as following my backup page. I made a backup page. It is going to be Ty Guidance. I haven't posted a video yet. I may be posting a video towards the end of this month. If not, I do have a backup page, just because when starting something new or doing something that you've never done before, you have no idea, you have no expectations, and you have to understand, what's working for you and what's not. So roughly in 2019, this is when I started my channel. I originally wanted to start my channel in 2017, but it wasn't until I took action in 2019. So at 22 years old, I started this channel. And from 22 up until now, I'm 25. Within the last 3 years, I've gone through things just like everybody else in the world. And that's another thing on this channel, because I have gone through things just like everybody else. I don't invalidate how people feel. So because I speak from a place of experience, I only know what I know. I only know what works best for me, how it's resonated with me, and inform myself. So a little about myself: I have traveled. I've lived in 7 different states. I've been to over 22 different states, and I've been to like 7 or 8 different countries or more. So just having that background, born and raised in New York City, the East Coast. I lived in Maryland. I lived in Pennsylvania. I lived in Wisconsin, Colorado. I lived in Georgia, Pennsylvania. I think I said that already. So just traveling. I've had a job since I was 17 years old. So I'm 25 now, and starting YouTube, starting my business. And that's what I'm saying. I made a backup page because when starting out, I wasn't really educated as I'm educating myself now, like anything that you do that you never done before. And, learning the pros and the cons. There are some decisions that I've made that weren't the best. And that's another reason why I suggest and advise information, not to be braggadocious, not to be full of myself, but to let people know that, one, it's okay to make decisions if you're naive, you lack knowledge, you're ignorant, and knowing that it's not the end of the world and that you're not your situation. So on this channel, because I suggest and advise information, letting people know that, one, it is okay to make decisions. So it's a couple people in the chat right now. Hey, you guys, it just showed up. Sorry, I just want to make sure. But letting people know it's okay that if you make certain decisions in your life that, one, haven't been the best for you because you didn't have the guidance, you didn't have the knowledge, as well as the education, and realizing, I hope you guys can hear me because I just turned my volume up. So realizing that, one, life is about you understanding what works for you and what doesn't. The more simpler that you can live your life, I would suggest and advise, the easier it is for you to understand, what's working for you and what's not working for you. And you guys, make sure you're staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, okay? So fun fact about me, you guys, I'm currently on a water diet, meaning I only drink water. Not saying that I don't eat anything, like, because when I say water diet, people are like, you just drink water, like you don't eat. Like, I'm on a liquid water diet, meaning I only consume water as a beverage. Like I don't drink soda or juice. Like I never cared for soda like when I was young growing up because once again, you only know what you know. And that's when it comes to experiences in life. Like I only know what I know. Growing up, how I was raised, like in the community of my culture, like it was common to drink soda and like juice. Now, as I've gotten older in my 20s, at least, like I've stopped drinking soda. If I drink soda, like it is really like if I go to like fast food place and I want something sweet, because for me at least, soda doesn't have any taste. I don't know if it's because, like, I've outgrown my taste buds, but, like, I've been very healthy, and from 2018 up until 2020, I used to be a vegan. So, fun fact, that's me. I'm just very organic, natural hipster vibes, like you guys can see, very just natural hipster organic vibes. That's the vibes that I get for myself. But, like, just drinking plenty of water because for me at least, like, my poop and pee is not supposed to have an odor. Like, us detoxing our bodies is because of what we consume and just doing things that work for you. So just because I'm a messenger, just because I'm a vegan, just because I drink water, just because I do things naturally organically doesn't mean that you have to. The purpose of me being a messenger is me just to give messages for the collective. So if these videos resonate with you, I just ask you give this video a big thumbs up, making sure you're subscribed and staying tuned. And if they don't, continue to live your life. So me making this backup page is just to have just in case, because like I said, when starting a YouTube channel or starting something that you never done before, you're doing something that you never done before. A lot of people get discouraged. A lot of people are afraid. Something that I've had to realize is that if you never tried something, you don't know if you're good at it. And it takes time and effort to get like a rhythm and flow. And that's something that I want to suggest and advise is being strategic as well as doing things in order. Like something that I've learned from my peers and my associates and even my subscriber is taking my time when doing things. Like I'm very structured as a person already. So like when I plan my videos, I have a notebook. I like to be organized. I have a planner inside of my notebook. I don't know if you guys can see like all of that. Okay, like I'm the type of person when it comes to planning, I am like the alphabet A through Z, 1 through 10, step by step. I like to do things slowly. Like I don't like to multitask. I like to have all of my full undivided attention when doing things just because I feel like that's how what works best for me. So me doing things that work best for me, I'm just here to suggest and advise. Like, of course, if you feel as though that these videos are not informative to you, they don't resonate with you, and you're not willing to understand a perspective, because all I'm here to do is just educate those who want to understand a different perspective. And on this channel, I give a lot of factual information and not opinionated information. Like a lot of people have podcasts where they just express their feelings and vent themselves or just, vlog how they feel, which is nothing wrong with that. But this is a specific, this is intentional. I do have an agenda like any and everybody else. So me exposing that is just a part of my character as well as the mission that I have for myself, a form of projection, just like everybody else experience in life. So because everyone in life does not have the same opportunities, whether it's finances, emotionally, logically, supernaturally, consciously, or physically, realizing, doing what you can by being the best that you can and not, allowing people, places, and things that are not, resonating with you to affect you. So when it comes to healing, it is a choice, knowing that it does take some time. That's like grieving. Anybody who's ever grieved, like from like a loved one or personal experience, their mind, their emotions, knowing that it's a cycle and that anything takes time and energy. So like the best example and the best way I like to simplify my life or examples for the collective is the example of going to the gym. If anyone has physically gone to the gym, you know that it takes strategy, it takes effort, and your results are going to be based off of you. So, like, if you're the type of person where, let's just say, you weigh 1,000 pounds, like mentally and emotionally, so you're depressed, you have anxiety, you're suicidal, all these things, you have to realize that it's going to take you some time to declutter, to de-strip, to reprogram, instead of just thinking that you're just going to wake up one day and 1,000 pounds be lighter. Like that's not how it works. So on this channel, I'm very honest and I guess transparent. The reason why I say that is because when I would read words from the dictionary and the source, I didn't want people to be content with the actual word, but the feeling that it makes you feel. Like all words have definitions. All words can be described. All words have letters, which means all words are going to have sentences and have some form of definition. The definition that resonates with you is the one that's going to be most authentic or organic to you. So on this channel, I represent myself. I'm a real individual, like I said, behind the screen. At the end of the day, like I know it's a computer. I know it's the internet, meaning that there are people behind screens, the computers, the technology, physical and material items don't move me, you guys. I'm a spirit possessing a soul inside of a physical body. And if you guys see me looking like I'm looking at the screen and I'm trying my best to look at the camera. So with that being said, just keep in mind of, what you're listening to, who you're hanging around with, and what you want for yourself. Like when it comes to healing, being honest, like accepting what you've gone through. Like one thing I want to suggest and advise to you guys is really just, if you're honest with yourself, and I know there's so much easier said than done, and to me, I'm not gonna lie, I think it's unfortunate, but if you're honest with yourself, what could go wrong, you guys? Like I really want my collective, my subscribers to genuinely like be real with yourself. Like that's all it is. Like you see people do what you want to do and you feel like you can't do what they do. Like be real with yourself. Are you willing to put in the work? Are you taking the time to heal yourself? Are you sitting here taking notes, or are you just watching? Like people want to do what you want to do, but they're not willing to take the time and energy. Like I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of friend. Like me being a friend, I'm a real friend to myself. I haven't always been perfect. I haven't always been the best of friends. So me being a young lady, being 25, like knowing what I want, how I want to carry myself, and how I want to move, like I had to be willing to admit that and take change. Like you want to be something, you have to be willing to do what it is that the person you want to become. Like, and it's not going to happen overnight. Like it took me 5 years to really get to this point in my life feeling comfortable, and I am young, and it doesn't matter your age, like 25, 35, 45, 105, 55, 65, or 15. Well, of course everyone here should be over the age of 21, but realizing that like if you are real with yourself, you can't disappoint yourself. That's like I just said in my video. I personally, this is an opinion. I don't like what people are like, oh, being a good person, being nice, being kind. Like, no, I'm gonna be kind. I'm gonna be nice. And I'm gonna be loving to myself. Just because you don't have these character traits, one, I don't have any expectations of people. That's the problem. People have expectations of people. You're not other people. So what you want in other people, if they're not willing to be that in themselves, they can't give that to you. Whether it's emotion, a job, boyfriend, girlfriend, friends, hairstyles, whatever it is that you want, you have to be willing to attract and align. If you're equally not giving from the situation, which is a connection, is not going to last. So, not forcing yourself being around people, places, and things that don't align with you, cutting off people. Go ahead, get my scissors, handy dandy scissors, cutting people off, mom, dad, brother, friends, coworkers. It doesn't matter. You can know someone for 20 years and meet somebody that you've known for 3 months and have more of a relationship with the person you met for 3 months because the person you've been with 20 years, you got comfortable with, you settled. Like one thing I want to suggest and advise when it comes to healing and bettering your life and getting to know yourself and being the best version of yourself is realizing your needs, your wants, learning to prioritize yourself. Like it's okay to make decisions that you didn't know anything about. That's what being naive is. A lot of us here who are adults over here, everyone here, like I said, should be over the age 21. And for my young people, you all are an exception. But if you are 25 and older, to all my grown folks and all my adults, realizing it's okay to be naive. How do you think you're going to learn? Like I had to be naive. I had to make certain decisions. I had to be influenced by certain choices that weren't the best for me. I had to make, judgment without having any character because that's how you build character. You can't become the best version of yourself if you don't make certain decisions that you lack. And lacking, that's like insecure. Like me personally, fun fact, the only insecurity I used to have about myself is that I had stretch marks like on my physical body. I've always been small. Learning that when you're insecure of something, that you're not secure of something. Like when you tell someone, oh, you're insecure, people, they immediately get offended. Why are you offended? You shouldn't be offended. The word insecure means that you're not secure. It is okay. Like that's one thing I want to suggest and advise is, like I said, when you are who you say you are, what other people say about you is just an opinion. That's why I come on here. I don't like to speak from a place of opinion. If I do, it's, all out of love to my genuine subscribers. But like I suggest and advise information. And I like to suggest and advise information with factual information, such as educating you guys, such as informing you guys. That's why last year I was reading the words from the dictionary to break down for you guys to understand, not to read the word from the dictionary and pinpoint every single word and be like, well, this word says this and that word says this. And then science says, no, it's for you to understand and for you to process, because guess what? You could say a word and five people that hear that word may or may not, one, resonate. It says 444, resonate with that word the same way or process that word the same way. Like you hearing words is not for you to be content with it. You hearing something, me breaking down the words from the dictionary is not for you to be so focused and so settled that you don't realize that it is just a word. So what do I mean by just a word? All words, all letters, any meaning that has any form of vocabulary is just that. Learning to accept, who you are by being responsible. Like I used to be very stubborn, very prideful as a person, not realizing, once again, being naive, that I didn't get nowhere in life. And when you are young, you make certain decisions. And what I want to suggest and advise, if you are young, make the decisions when you are young. Like a lot of people in the older generation, I don't have nothing against them because they have a different lifestyle and a different time period. But one thing I disagree is that if I could do something now in my 20s, why would I not do it now? Like some people, of course, are not going to get things in their 20s or 30s or 40s. You can't worry about other people. That's the problem. Like I've never been worried about anybody other than myself. The areas that I lack was my emotional intelligence, so my attitude, and I would say the men, because I've had my father in my life, and when my father passed away, it messed with me emotionally. I wasn't It's something I never experienced in my life. And I personally, emotionally, like I just said in my video, I didn't care about myself. I disrespected myself. And what I mean by disrespecting myself, I would give myself to boys because they're not men. I would give myself to boys who weren't worthy of me. And when you respect yourself, it's about character. Like I want to be a classy young lady. Like that's why I'm trying my best, not to curse no more. But like if you have character, it's certain things that you don't want to do. Like if you say that you want to be something, be about it. People don't have to talk about the things they're doing. You don't have to sit here and explain yourself. That's like me. A lot of people look at my physical appearance and feel the need to judge me. That's them. If people want to look at my physical appearance and think, well, she doesn't look that's their opinion. That's their perspective. I know who I am. I know what I look like in real life. I know what I look like, I do things for me. And it's like, I've never been that type of person to allow other people's opinions to project onto me. That's why people feel the way they do. That's why people feel like, oh, she's full of herself, or she's cocky, she's arrogant. No, I'm not. I love myself. Just because you don't love yourself doesn't mean you get to make me feel bad. It'd be one thing if I walked around and I was like, oh yeah, I'm the baddest. I don't call myself a bad bitch. I don't like that because I'm not a bitch. I don't say that. I'm not a bad. Okay, I'm a lady. I'm a classy, beautiful young lady. And carrying myself is, like I said, it's not your physical appearance. I know that physically anybody can be attractive. Physically, that's all you are, is a body. It's your spirit. It's your mind. It's your heart. It's how you communicate. It's how you carry yourself. Like, yes, when it comes to carrying yourself, you should love yourself. But like me personally, like I know how I look. So for example, my skin breaking out, me having on no makeup. If people want to talk about my skin, if people want to talk about my face not being clear, I'm supposed to cry. Unless you all are giving me money to go to a dermatologist or getting my blood drawn, what am I supposed to do about it? Like the world's not going to stop just because people feel some type of way, like especially not me. And that's why I've realized why I've always been hyperly like independent, and I've had to learn, how to be more emotional and have emotional intelligence, because I very am strong-minded, logical, very analytical type of person. I think before I speak. People think that I don't have any emotions and I'm just detached. Like no, I also have a brain. I just use my brain more sometimes than my heart, and realizing that that's okay. Like that's things that I had to learn from, because I didn't use my heart mentally. I was in situations that, caused me to think or feel some type of way. And that's okay. Like I'm coming on here to not tell my business or for people to figure me out or think, because at the end of the day, I'm the magician. Okay, you guys, I'm the magician at the end of the day. But it's for me, it's for allowing people to feel vulnerable and feeling okay. Like you shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about what you've gone through. And me personally, you shouldn't want to be around people who make you feel less than. You shouldn't be around people who make you feel bad for doing things that they're not doing. Like me starting a business, me starting a YouTube channel, me having a small channel. If anybody doesn't want to support me now, when I get to where I need to be, you could say congratulations. All I'm going to say is thank you, because at the end of the day, you weren't there for me. And that's nothing. You can't expect other people to be there for you. That's why you can't hold other people accountable for your actions. That's something that my father, and I've had people in my life tell me all the time. Me making naive decisions was a choice. Sometimes I was a little rebellious. Sometimes I was on the edge. But me being rebellious and me being a little on the edge, guess what? Consequences. If you can't face your consequences are going to face you. That's how I look at it. Either you get up and you fight for your life, or you can get your ass beat every single day. Why? Because no one on this earth asked to be born in the physical. Of course, supernaturally, spiritually, if you know, you know. But physically, in the flesh, you all didn't ask to be here. And I didn't ask to be here in the flesh. Of course, like I said, not for the people in the spiritual community who are going to, if you know, you know. But, and that's another thing. You got to educate yourself. It's a spirit, like, it's a lot going on in the world. So just, realize that when it comes to you being the best version of yourself, when it comes to you bettering your life, take your time. And stop hanging around people that make you feel bad. If you can't express how you feel, cut those people off. Let me go ahead and get my scissors. Get you a pair of scissors. And if you need to in real life, go like this. Imagine you cutting some paper. Like cut off all the people that you don't want to be around. Like cut them all off. Cut them all off. Okay? Cut all these people off. Okay? surrender and realize that, you know what, I made certain decisions in my life in my past, and I don't want to continue. I don't want to hang around certain people. I don't even want to give my time and energy. Like I said, you care about yourself, you love yourself, you respect yourself, you're not going to do certain things. And it's okay because any grown adult like myself as a young lady, even though physically I'm 25, supernaturally I'm a billion years old, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, I'm not that type of friend. I've never been that type of friend. That's why, like, growing up, when I had friends, like, I was very selective of the friends I hang around, and like, I never had a group of friends. Like, I never had a clique of friends. I could be friends with any and everybody, and I was friends with any and everybody, literally. So realizing being an individual is you doing what you need to do. Like, I never fit in because you can't fit in with people that are not you. People that fit in with other people feel as though they have to be around people, they have to have friends. They're not comfortable with being by themselves. And to me, that's very dangerous. Like, a lot of people feel comfortable being in groups. I feel more comfortable being by myself. I don't feel comfortable being around with a lot of people because it's like, how do you think? How are you carrying yourself? What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And once again, I'm not perfect. Anybody who has enough common sense, people think I'm so mysterious because I carry myself a certain type of way. I handle myself a certain type of way. I'm not about to sit here, and it's not to say that I can't be vulnerable and I can't show that side of me, but it's like you don't just give your time and energy to any and everybody. I've had to suffer. Like, my decisions that I made, like I said, intimately, because those are the areas that I lack. Because I've always had a job, okay, financially, mentally, I've had good parents in my life. They weren't, the richest, they weren't the poorest. They did what they could, and because of the way I was raised, I do have certain, like, values and morals. But me, one thing I had to realize, like, the boys that I used to be intimate with, I would just give myself to them, and it was disrespectful. I was draining myself. Like, I'm being in relationships just because I feel like I need to be appreciated by a boy, when absolutely not, absolutely not. Okay, like, the man that is going to marry me, he's going to understand that. Like, you're more than your physical worth. Like, that's like, if you're insecure about your image, it's not to say that you can't, get procedures done, but it's like, if you don't like how you look and you get procedures done for other people, you're always gonna have an issue. You're always gonna feel like, oh, I need to look like this, or I need to look like that. Like, learning to be secure of yourself. That's one thing I've always been secure of because, one, I've always lived in my own world. If you know, you know. But like, it's not until now, as I've gotten older and I realize that, okay, there are other people physically and spiritually, supernaturally around me. It's not just me, because that's what a lot of people think. And it's not that I'm fooling myself because I want to be arrogant or I want to be conceited. It's like, you have to be able to do things for yourself. All you have physically is yourself. You're born by yourself. No one is there with you. Like, your mother gives birth, or your guardian, whoever, birthed you. Yes, but you individually, you are an individual at the end of the day. And it's not to say that you can't have friends, you can't build relationships with people, but you have to be full of yourself to know who you're going to have relationships with. So that's how you have, to me, healthy relationships. Like, I only want healthy relationships. In order for me to have healthy relationships, I have to be healthy within myself. So if I want to be a good boss, I have to work on, leadership skills. I got to work on my communications. If I want to be a good girlfriend, a good wife, I have to work on, myself emotionally. If I want to be a good friend, I have to, you know what I'm saying? Because there were times where I was a villain and there were times where I was a hero. I don't just come on here and make it seem like, oh, I'm this person, I'm not. No, because if people, from my past were to say what they say, it's three sides to a story. Is what they say, and is what I say, and what the actual reality is. And that's where, for people to understand, like, people try so hard to figure out people when all you got to do, one, you listen. That's why you got two eyes and two ears. You listen with your eyes. Okay, that's, if you listen with your eyes, and you don't talk as much. You got to learn. And that's something I've had to realize. Like, there's nothing wrong with, being a good person. Like, me coming on YouTube and being vulnerable, I'm not oversharing because I know what I'm saying. So, like, anybody who tries to come on here and make me feel bad, you can't. Especially not on the internet. I'm not saying that I know what it's like to have a million and thousand people like say stuff. I don't know what that's like. I'm going to experience that. But until that happens, like, being secure yourself, so like I said, if I know who I am in real life, what does YouTube or the internet have to do with me? I can't control how other people think and how other people perceive me. I can only control how I feel. And then, like I said, if you really are not saying a gangster in real life, then, like I said, internet and the YouTube, that's like when people say social media is the problem. Like, that's another thing I don't like, when people are like social media is the problem. Social media is an app. Social media is the internet. Stop making excuses. People individually, yes, are on the internet. Yes, they're on apps. They're all physical and material, plastic delusional and illusional realities, like to be really real with you. Like, and once people can understand that, and once people are not so content with the physical and material, you can supernaturally and spiritually align yourself, you heal yourself. But you got to be willing to just, be real with yourself. Like, it's okay. There are a lot of things I've done in my past that I'm embarrassed of. That's why me in the present moment right now, I don't want to talk about my past. I want to heal from my past. I want to be like, you know what? The type of man, like I said, things that I've learned, oh, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And holding yourself accountable, because when you grow, you will realize, okay, like, it's okay. Yeah, you were sad in that moment. Yeah, you lost what you lost. But if you allow certain situations to affect you, that's who you think you are. That's like when people say, oh, I have ADHD, or I have, no, you're not. You do not have, like, stop saying that. When you say that, that's what you feel. Like, a lot of people do not realize what people, if you know, like I said, for the supernatural people, words are spells. Like, we say what is real because, once again, go outside. You guys go outside. I know a lot of people are not, in the supernatural community necessarily just yet, but me being a messenger, like I said, I'm just a spirit. I'm just a spirit. Don't be so content with the physical. Don't be so content with the flesh. That's why you have to use your discernment. That's what your supernatural, your gut is for. Your gut is inside your body, especially women. We have the portals. We are the reason why this world exists, especially us women. If you know, you know. That's why, if you know, you know. Okay, I almost got ahead of myself, but realizing that you have to know, you got to be able to, realize, like, hey, if I feel some type of way, if you feel some type of way about somebody, that uneasy feeling is for a reason. Now, it's the difference between having anxiety and knowing your intuition. That's why you got to learn the difference. You got to have balance. You got to know that, okay, if somebody is for you, you will feel it. You don't have to say anything. Like, love is it could be a form of a feeling, rather it's mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, consciously, subconsciously. Like, it's what you feel and what you know and confirming it. Like, if you're not aware of something, that's what insecurity is. Taking some time to understand, is this projection or is this what it is? And realizing that other people are not you. So if you do something for someone and think that they're supposed to do the same thing for you, you're gonna be disappointed. If you think just because you are willing to go out your way, that's why people are like, oh, I don't like being a good person, because when I'm a good person, people, you're being good to the wrong people. There are people who are willing to sit here and do right by you. You have to align yourself though. Stop hanging around with people, stop giving. They're called boundaries. Have some respect. How do I know? I really disrespected myself. And I disrespected myself so much that people felt that they could disrespect me. And that's the problem. It's one thing if you disrespect yourself, but when people think they could try to disrespect, oh, put some respect on my name. Put some respect on your name. Put some respect on your name and say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, mean what you say, and think before you speak. Practicing daily. That's something that I'm working on. Practicing daily, like holding myself accountable, being mindful of what I say and do, because this is my life. This is your life. How do you better your life? You show up for yourself. It's not to say the things that you've gone through in your past, didn't affect you, because a lot of people have been robbed. A lot of people have been raped. A lot of people had miscarriage. A lot of people have been broke. A lot of people have been homeless. A lot of people suffered. A lot of people burnt. Regardless, everyone is going through things. There's nobody on this earth who doesn't go through things. The reason why people suffer more than others is because of their resources. It's because of naturally where they live, geographically where they live. It depends on their transportation. It depends on their exposures and their opportunities. If you live in a hood, you live in the projects your entire life, you're not going to know that you could go to Disneyland and that there's more than the gates. And if you've always been silver spooned, you've always been privileged, you don't realize that one day that all of that stuff can be taken away and you can be broke the same day. Learning to be humble. Like, people don't like to be humble. That's one thing about me. I love being humble. I love to be humble. And I have no problem saying, people, oh, I don't want to be humble. Humble bees. That's your problem. If you can't realize that you don't know everything and that it's okay to not know everything, being a teachable person, you're not going to grow. Pain is growth. Life is about perspective. If you sit here and say, I can't do something, you're right. You're not going to, because you don't even believe, nor do you try. And it takes a lot of energy and effort. Like, people think I'm full of myself. That's because I mean what I say. I'm sorry you can't relate. You don't get to sit here and make people feel bad. Because one thing I don't do is projections. Like, when I was young, like I said, I didn't realize, because once again, I have always lived in my own world. So if I didn't realize that people were projecting on me, like, I would pull people to the side. Like, there have been times where I've been friends with people and I'd be like, I feel like you're jealous, or I feel like you're insecure. And I feel like me being your friend, this is why a lot of the people that I'm no longer friends with, I had to cut them off, because they weren't my friends. They were never my friends. If we can't have conversations, and like one person, and I'm gonna write this down, I'm gonna mention her, because every time I talk about her, I would forget. Doris Blue. Shout out to you, Doris Blue. Okay, I'm gonna put her name in this video. So Doris Blue, like, I would consider her a friend. When we first met, Obviously we came from two different walks of life. And one thing she made me realize is that everyone is going to come from different walks of life. If you're able to get to those conversations to understand people, that's why you listen to understand. Meaning, if you're having a conversation with somebody and it's uncomfortable, listen to where that person's coming from and understand why they're saying the things that they are. If you're having a conversation with somebody, you keep talking over top of them, you don't even let them express how they feel, or you're not listening to understand why they're saying that they're saying, you're always going to think, oh, this person's confrontational, this person's problematic, I don't want to argue. No, you don't know how to communicate. And I want to give a big shout out to Doris, because Doris had made me realize, different forms of communication, expressing myself. And she was to me a person I consider a friend. I don't have to talk to her every day. And me meeting her, obviously when we first met, because we had differences, we were able to, for me at least, she was able to help me grow and realize the differences between me and other people. And that's how life is. A lot of people, of course, are not her or me, so they don't have to be flexible. You don't have to be. But me being a spiritual healer, that's what I want to do. I enjoy it's natural born talent. Like, some people have natural born talent. Some people are good at naturally things, versus where you have to learn how to do things. And even if you don't have a natural born talent, or you are gifted, you learn. Like, if you want to learn how to start a business, learn how to start a business. If you want to build a house like me, starting a business, starting a YouTube channel, like, taking your time. One thing I've learned from examples is knowing that if you're not willing to try or take the step forward, you're not going to know. That's why a lot of people live in fear. That's why a lot of people doubt themselves, because they're not willing to trust themselves. You're worried about what other people say. You care about, like me, how I come on here and I was broke. So, like, I was wearing the same clothes and, like, I was depressed. So personally, I stopped caring about my grooming myself, not saying like showering and hygiene, but like just getting my hair done, getting my nails done. I stopped caring. I didn't care. And I have enough courage to come on here, and you guys will see the beginning of my videos, like when I first started, and then during and up until now. Like, I'm now getting my physical self because I know who I am. Like I said, this is the internet. Like, people don't know me. If people want to talk about me wearing the same clothes or not, caring about being as girly as that's for them. Like, y'all think I'm important. People that talk about you think you're important anyway, so you might as well put on the show. Like, that's one thing about me. If you're gonna think I'm pressure, baby, what's good? Like, I want all smoke. And it's not to be confrontational, but it's like, what are you gonna do about it? If you're not willing to, help someone and be like, hey, Ty, I think you can, get your hair from the beauty supply store. You can get cheap wigs. If you're not educating, informing, or uplifting people, why should someone listen to you? That's like that TikTok of you guys like, why on earth would I listen to you? Or another TikTok I like is when she's like, you do not have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me. Like, that's how I am in real life. And realizing that, like, just take your time, you guys, practice daily, and don't allow people, places, and things that you don't want to be like, or, that you've outgrown to affect you. A lot of people project, especially, I'm not gonna lie, the adults. You guys need to grow up, okay? And I say that with love, like, for the adults who want to be in my life, because I don't just surround myself with any and everybody. Life is about perspective, and that's the same thing with me. Me being 25 years old, I honestly need to grow up. I have to work on my attitude, because the same way I'm calm and collective is the same way as a whole different side on the other side, because I got friends on the other side. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. So nobody's perfect, okay? Including myself. That's why I get to come on here, and of course people are gonna think, but guess what? Do you have the balls to come on here being broke, starting a business with no money, and having the money that you have? Do you have the balls to sit here? And if you don't, you think I'm about to sit here and allow you to make me feel some type of way? You don't even have the balls to do what I'm doing, but you want to talk your talk and stand on it. Because when I get to where I need to be, keep the same energy. And that goes for everybody. And it's not about proving a point. It's not about flexing. I'm not getting a car, an apartment to flex. I need a car. I need somewhere to live. I don't want to be homeless. I've been broke before. And that's how like, when you go through things, it builds your character. Like, it's not to say, and people get mad, people who have everything, they've always had everything, they don't have no character. That's why they feel like they need to have things. And it's not to knock people, because I've had both sides. Like, growing up, I wouldn't say my parents were rich, but like growing up, I grew up like when I was like a baby. It wasn't until I was maybe like from like 7 to 10 years old that I lived in a house. That was the only time from like being 7 to 10. So like that is considered early childhood. But like my parents and how they was raised, they're immigrant parents, being in New York City, like growing up in New York City and then moving to Maryland and around that time and then getting my education. So I got my education in the state of Maryland, but I was born and raised in New York City. Like I still going back, I still have family, and it's still like I still have family in both states. But realizing like expanding yourself and being real with yourself. I didn't always have, everything that I had. Like my parents, especially my parents, they weren't born and raised the same way that I had. Like they were born in the 70s in New York City. You know what I'm saying? Like I couldn't imagine, with that lifestyle is like, because one, the times are literally different. That's another thing. So when it comes to the older adults, don't be upset because you guys didn't have the opportunity and the resources. Do what you can now and be grateful if you can. If you still have it, like there's no age expectancy in life. There's no age expectancy when you have to do certain things. And that's something that I've learned from older people. Like me growing up, because my parents were young, like my parents grew up with me. So like my parent, because my father passed away, they're young and I'm young. So like my mom, she's literally just like, I call my mom my older sister. I don't consider her to be my mom. Not saying that to be rude. Like sometimes she's my mom, but a lot of times she's just my big sister because she's not that much older than me. And because of that, we grew together and realizing, your parents, they do the best they could. I'm not saying my parents are perfect because they're not, but they're people. Like they were people before me. And that's what a lot of people need to understand. It's a bigger picture. Like when you stop limiting yourself and you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, you will realize, oh yeah, it's a bigger picture when it comes to life. So you better in your life. What I want to suggest and advise is just practicing. Make sure you're practicing daily and make sure you live your best life. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ty_guidance to stay up to date. And no, I don't have any other social media. So if you see anything else, I'm saying what I'm saying. And just take your time and don't forget to say YOLO and just practice. Like if you want change, you got to know that, like I said, if you weigh 1,000 pounds today and you want to lose 500 pounds, it's not going to take you one. You can't lose unless, even if you get surgery, but that's another thing. That's a whole different topic. But when you're losing weight, it's going to take time. If it took you, let's just say 5 years to gain weight, I'm not going to say that's going to take you 5 years to lose weight, but it's going to take some time. Like being real with yourself, having balance. That's one thing I want to suggest to guys is balancing yourself out. And when the more you learn to balance, because it takes a lot of work, you guys. I was able to take 5 years of my life in a whole year, for real, that to really like nip it in the butt because it's like, okay, I'm tired of being in the same position. I know that if I want to move forward, I have to take the step forward. All that is taking a step forward. Like when it comes to achieving a goal, like climbing a mountain or losing weight, take the first step. Don't think about it. Just do one thing, make a list, do what you can day by day. That's all it is. That's what people, one thing, that's the biggest key. If you do it day by day, it's going to build because you have to create your finish line. A lot of people, I don't know if you ever ran a race before, but you had to start from with somewhere. If you don't have a starting line, you don't have a middle, you don't have an end. If you don't have an end, you don't have a middle, you didn't start. Okay, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, your evening, or your morning.